So here we can write something like this. Specification and ORM tool, okay, implement the specification by writing some functionality. Okay, to implement this particular functionality, we need a one tool, okay, or we need a one framework. Okay, so Hibernate is a tool or a framework of the ORM. Okay, so it is the framework, I can say framework or framework which is used to implement the implement the functionality of yeah, functionality of ORM tool. Okay, so and obviously it is a open source. Okay, so it is a it is a free to use, and Hibernate implements the okay Hibernate creates the tables automatically. Okay, because it has a own language. Okay, so when we are using Hibernate, no need to use the SQL. Okay, but the main difference between the Hibernate and JDBC is okay in JDBC to communicate with the database, to retrieve some data, to insert some data, we are using SQL queries in the JDBC. Okay, we are using SQL queries in the JDBC, but but okay, when you are using Hibernate, okay, we can use the okay HQL. HQL. That means Hibernate query language. It has a own language, okay, to communicate with the database. And HQL and SQL are almost similar, but HQL is the shortest form of SQL. Okay, HQL is the shortest form of okay SQL. So, and this is the main difference between the JDBC and Hibernate. And okay, the another difference is okay. So here we can create the objects. Okay, here we can create the objects, and here we can implement the some oops features. Okay, we can implement some features of oops. Okay, we discussed already this thing. Okay, so I mean, which feature we implemented? Which feature of oops we implemented?
Inheritance.
Yes, inheritance. Inheritance means what is meant by inheritance, boys?
Inherit the property of one
Mm.
class to
Okay.
another.
Okay. So, okay, for example, okay, we are having a okay one table. We designed a one table called Team India. Okay, so Team India is the parent class where bowler and batsman is the child classes. Okay, those child classes can inherit the properties of parent. Okay, so we can create a one central okay table to maintain both bowlers and coaches and batsmen as well. Okay, so we can implement the inheritance, which is one of the main features of oops concepts. Okay, someone joined. Hope too late. Okay, so in the table, I mean, let's understand the differences between database. Okay, so database or DBMS, I can say DBMS, okay, versus Hibernate. Okay, in the DBMS we have a table, no? Okay, in the DBMS we have a table, but in the Hibernate we have what we have in the place of table in the DBMS we have something in the Hibernate. No, what is that?
Objects.
No,
Entity.
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 Very good.
Entity. Sorry.
Entity is the table. Okay, and here table has a some columns, na? Table has a some columns. Okay, so what we have in the Hibernate in the place of columns?
Attributes.
Attributes. That's not attribute.
Variables.
Yes. Okay. Private instance variables. Okay, we can say instance variables. Instance variables. Hmm. So in the table we have a different rows. Okay, we can say it is a tuple. Okay, we can say it is a tuple. Okay, so what we have in the Hibernate in the place of rows we have
Entity objects.
objects. Very good. So we can create the object for a one particular entity by creating the object. Okay, so we will create a one row for the okay particular columns. Okay, so these are the main difference between the Hibernate and DBMS. Okay, so in the Hibernate we can create a entity. Okay, Hibernate automatically converts the an entity into the table. Okay, it converts, okay, entity into the table by automatically. And if you create some instance variable, okay, you can create any number of instance values. Okay, those instance values is going to create as a columns of the DBMS. Okay, is going to create columns as a, okay, instance values. And we have a different rows in the DBMS. That means we have a different rows in the tables, but we have objects in the Hibernate. Okay, the object of a entity is going to create as a row of the DBMS. Okay, so these things you have to explain. Okay, so some, if someone asks you about what is the difference between Hibernate and JDBC, you have to explain these things. Okay, Hibernate can't implement the sorry, JDBC can't implement the features of hooks because we cannot implement inheritance in the JDBC. And okay, in JDBC we are using SQL, but in the Hibernate we are using HQL, that means a Hibernate query language, okay, which is the shortest form of SQL. Okay, and these are the main things we have to know before learning the Hibernate. Okay, so guys, any doubts here? Do you have anything, any doubts, anything to ask here? No. Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, so coming to the, okay, so after discussing these things, no, so we have to know about the important terms. Okay, so we have to discuss the important terms of Hibernate. Okay, so we have one important term, that is session factory. We have one important thing that is known as session factory. What is meant by session factory, ma? What is meant by
It's
session
an
factory?
interface.
Hmm. Okay,
Sir, it's an interface to avoid that avoids connection.
okay, okay. So it's a basic interface to get a connection to the database. That's what you are saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The generally, yes, obviously, the session factory is a factory of sessions. Okay, so session factory is a factory of sessions. Okay, so generally, okay, if you want to do something, okay, if you want to, okay, fetch the data, if you want to insert the data into the table or anything, okay, you want to do some transactions with the database. Okay, for the transactions we have to complete the transactions in a one particular session. Okay, right now we are discussing the Hibernate in one particular session, right? This is the session. Okay, so I am communicating something and you are receiving something from me. Okay, so where we are receiving, where we are discussing all these things in one particular session. Okay, so if you want to do some transactions, if you want to update some values, if you want to perform some crude operations, okay, there you have to create a one session. Okay, you have to create a session, okay, to perform anything. Okay, if you want to create a table, or if you want to insert some data into the table, and if you want to update some data, if you want to delete some data, okay, if you want to retrieve the data, okay, so you can do all these things within the session only. Okay, within the session only we have to do all these things. Okay, but basically this session is an interface. Okay, it is an interface. Okay, basically session is an interface which provides the different methods like this, which provides different methods like insert, create, so and so. Okay, but this is an interface, right? So in Java we cannot create an object for interface. Okay, in Java we cannot create an object for interface. Okay, are you going to create an object for interface? Shall you create? No, it's not possible to create a object for interface. So okay, we cannot create an object for session, right? So that's why we need a factory of sessions. Okay, we need a, okay, the parent class of the session. Okay, we need a parent for the session. Okay, so session factory is the parent for the session. Okay, so here session factory is a factory of factory of sessions, a factory of sessions to get a connection, to get a so we have to create this session factory. Okay, we have to create the session factory by using the configuration, by using configuration. So we have to configure our application, right? So configuration, that means, we have to provide the driver name to communicate with the database, and we have to provide the database name, we have to provide the username, password to connect to the DB. Okay, we need all these details, right? So okay, so for getting configuration, okay, to get configuration, we have to specify all these details. By using those details, it will create a one session for you. Okay, by using those details, it will create a one session for you. So by using the sessions, you can perform all these operations like create, insert, update, delete, retrieve, or so on. So okay, so these are the, well, I mean, two important terms of, okay, one Hibernate project. Okay, after this, what is the another one, what is the another important term, you know
Transaction.
yes, we need a transaction. What is meant by transaction now?
So transaction is also an interface
Okay.
uh, to begin and commit. It is used to begin and commit the transaction.
Okay, okay, very good, very good. Hmm. So generally, okay, if I want to send some amount, okay, if I want to send some amount to the Yogesh, okay, I have to initiate the transaction in the phone pay, right? Okay, so if I want to send some amount to the Yogesh by using phone pay or Google Pay, anything, okay, by using any UPI service, okay, so I need a one transaction. First we have to create the transaction with Yogesh. After creating the transaction, okay, I can enter my UPI pin or something. Okay, I can enter UPI pin. If the UPI pin is correct, then the transaction is going to save in my database. Okay, so I mean, we need a mini statement, right? What are the different things are performed in my, by using my bank balance or something. We need a mini statement. So we need to save the update, we need to save the update that I have done. Okay, for these things, okay, I need to initiate one transaction, right? So okay, we need a transaction before inserting the data into the particular table, or before updating the data, or before deleting the data. Okay, so if you want to do some transactions with database, then you have to initiate the transaction for sure. Okay, so transaction is a basic interface, it is an also interface, okay, which provides a method method for transaction, for transaction management. We have to begin the transaction. After beginning the transaction, we can, okay, complete our transaction part. If we completed the transaction, no, so we have to close our transaction. That means we have to commit the transaction. Okay, so these are the different things that we have to know. Okay, so anything wants to discuss here, anyone? Is this clear about session factory, session, transaction? Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
So the
Yes, sir.
difference
Yes.
between session factory and session is not that much clear to me right now.
Okay,
Could you
okay,
explain it?
okay, very good. So see, okay, so you want to insert some data. Okay, you want to insert, for example, we have a user table. Okay, we created a user entity. Okay, so where we can pass something like user ID, username, and a user phone number, or something like this. Okay, we want to insert these values into the table. Okay, we want to insert these values into the table. So if you want to insert, okay, we need a one method, okay, which is a save, right? Okay, we need save method to insert the data into the table. Save method is going to save the data in the table, right? So this save method, okay, this save method is the part of session. Okay, save method is the part of session. Okay, if you need a session, okay, if you want to create a session, then you have to create a session factory. Okay, so session factory is the parent class of a session. Okay, so by using one session factory, we can create hundreds or we can create thousands of sessions. Okay, so this one, okay, session factory is the only one in the project, but we can have different sessions in the, okay, project. Okay, we can have multiple number of sessions in a project, but we can have only one session factory in the project. Okay, session factory is the parent of session object. Okay, why we need a session object? Okay, if you want to, okay, do some transaction, okay, if you want to, okay, to communicate with the database, okay, that means if you want to insert some data, if you want to retrieve some data, definitely we need to do all these things. Okay, we need to do all these things within the session only. Okay, so within this session method has a different methods. It has a create, query, get, save, update. Okay, we discussed a lot of things, no? So all those methods are the part of session only. Okay, so you will have all the methods, I can say something like this. Okay, all the methods, okay, to communicate with, to communicate with. Hmm. Any other one? Any doubts? Anything else? Okay, so let's go to our coding part. Okay, we created so many parts of coding. So let's close everything. I have so many.
Sir, configure and configuration.
Hmm. Configure and configuration. Okay, I'll explain. Give me a minute. Okay, so you want to learn about configuration and config. Okay. Hmm. So did you remember about the driver manager class in the JDBC? So in the JDBC, we have a driver manager, no? So in the driver manager, we have a one method called get connection. Okay. So in the driver manager, we have a one method called get connection. By using the get connection only, we can get a one particular connection to communicate with the database. Right. So here in this particular get connection method, we have to specify the URL to our database, and we have to specify the username. Okay, sorry, username, and we have to specify the password as well for our database. Okay, we need to specify these three things in the I mean get connection method, which is the part of driver manager in JDBC. But when we are using the Hibernate, okay, so when we are using the Hibernate, we have a different thing. So okay, we need a configuration. So this particular configuration has one method which is a configure. Okay, so this configuration has one method called configure. Okay, this configure, for this particular configure method, we have to specify all the details like username, password, and database, driver, so on so, right? So we need to specify all these things in a one proper format. Okay, we need to specify all these things in a proper format. Okay, basically we are creating a one Hibernate file now. So Hibernate dot cfg dot xml. Did you remember this Hibernate CSV file? All the fields like a username, password, URL, database driver, okay, local host, okay, so many things. Okay, so here, okay, actually get connection method has URL and username and password, and our configuration configure method has Hibernate configuration file where we are specifying all our configuration. Table by using your, you have to specify user dot class in the annotated class. Okay, if you want to create some table like a employee, okay, if you are having a one model like employee, then you have to specify the class employee dot class. So you have to specify, okay, the number of tables that you are going to create by using this configuration. Okay, we have to specify these things. Okay, so configuration is equal to driver manager in JDBC, and a configure method is equal to get connection method in the JDBC. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
By using this configuration only, we have to create a session factory that I mentioned here. See, okay, session factory is going to create, okay, we have to create session factory by using configuration. Okay, after getting the particular configuration only, then we have to create a new session factory. After getting the session factory only, we have to create a new session. Okay, so this is the flow. So first, the first one is configure. Configure has a, I mean, sorry, configuration. Configuration has one method called configure, where we have to configure our session factory. Okay, after got, I mean, after configuring the session factory, we have to configure the session. In the session method, we have a different methods to communicate with the database. Okay, so this is the flow of Hibernate thing. Okay, so guys, are you clear? Discussing so much theory, which are very, which is very very important. Guys, is this clear for everyone? Any doubts, any issue, any confusion? Okay, shall we go to a project? Okay, we can see a project. Okay, I'm not going to create a new code, I'm not going to write the new code. Okay, so I'll just explain the code and everything, because we already spent a lot of time, no? So do you need to create a new project and explain all these things? So if I explain with a new file, I think it will take around 2 days to complete the Hibernate. Na? So we are already spent 1 week in this Hibernate. So I'm not going to create any project. I'm not going to write any line of code now. Okay, I'm just going to explain the things which we created. Okay, is that okay? Or
Yes,
do I
sir.
need to create a new file? Hey, yes, Paras, I forgot to take the attendance. Thank you. Mm. Okay. Before, before doing the practical session, okay, let me take. I mean, let me note the attendance. How many are there? Mm, I can see so many options. Why? What happened? Is there any festival today? Is this a problem with Durga Puja and all?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Today is the
I.
first Navratra, na? First day
Mm,
of the 9 day celebration.
Mm-hmm. The first day. Okay. Hey. Okay. 23. Here we have so many files we have. Mm.
Sir, I think create a new project so better understanding.
Okay. Okay. Let's create a new project. Okay, so I'll create a very simple project. Okay, so where we have a configuration where we can save the data and where we can retrieve the data. Okay, is that okay? Because if I repeat the things like one too many, many to one, I think so. I will explain those things because it will take around 2 days or 3 days to repeat all these things. Now, so I will create a one simple project to insert the data and to retrieve the data by using Hibernate. Okay, so I will explain all the configurations and everything. Is that okay? And we can discuss the remaining things which are very useful when we are creating the projects. No, when we are creating the project, we can discuss the remaining things as well. Okay, is that okay, boys? Or do you want me to repeat the entire Hibernate?
No, sir, is that
Tell me.
okay?
Okay, what about others, guys? Is that okay to create a simple project to retrieve and to retrieve the data and to insert the data?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's create a one simple project. Okay. So let me name the project. What is the name of the project? We can go. Marvin. We have to create a Marvin project. Click on the next. And we want to use the default location only. So click on the next. And we have to create a Architect Quick Start 1.1 project. Okay, and click on the next. Okay. So here we have to name our project. Okay, suggest me some name. Some name, da. Mm, okay. Something like user management. Is that okay? User MS, user management system. Okay, and I want to create you know com dot user management system as the package name. Okay, and click on the finish. And so many people are facing the issues while creating the Hibernate file. Okay, so so the most common error I saw when we are creating the um, Hibernate file. Okay, don't create a Hibernate file in your uh, package. Okay, you have to create the Hibernate file in the project structure. Okay, so don't create a Hibernate file in this particular com.userms. Okay, you have to create the Hibernate file in the entire project. Okay, it should be in a root directory. Okay, don't specify that in a one particular one particular package or something. Okay, guys, give me a moment. These calls today is Monday, no, we'll get a lot of calls for sure. Okay, please remember. So before creating the Hibernate file, we have to install a Hibernate plugin. Na? So to install a Hibernate plugin, how to install the Hibernate plugin in the Eclipse? Please guide me to install. Yes, please guide me to install a Hibernate plugin. No, before creating XML file, we need to install the Hibernate, na, from somewhere.
JS
So Hibernate configure.
Go to help.
No file.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so get me. Okay, I'm going on help. Okay, we
Select
have so many options.
marketplace.
Select
Eclipse marketplace.
marketplace. Okay, here we are. Okay, so it is loading. Hello, come on, baby. What happened to you? Shh. Mm, okay, it's open now. Okay, so Eclipse Marketplace is open. What to do now?
Sir, search JBoss.
Okay, okay, boss. Okay, so here we have to install this particular JBoss. No, so do we need to install everything in the JBoss?
No,
Which
sir.
files? Please? Which files? How many files we have to?
Hibernate
To
two.
Hibernate.
Okay, Hibernate and Hibernate configuration, which are the two
One.
different files. Very good. So we need to install two different files. One is the Hibernate and one is the Hibernate Maven configuration file. Okay, from this JBoss. Okay, so that's I mean because we already installed now so many times. So that's why it is showing installed or something like this. Okay, now you can close this particular Eclipse Marketplace. Now you can create a Hibernate. Okay. Configuration file. Okay, while creating the Hibernate configuration file, don't click on the package. Remember, okay, you have to click on the project and click on the right click. Okay, give a right click and go to the new, and here in the other spot, okay, here in the other spot you have to, okay, do something. What to do now?
Type Hibernate.
Hibernate. Search
Hmm.
Hibernate.
Hibernate. So we have four different files.
Select csv.xml.
Okay, cfg.xml, very good. Okay, it is asking for something. So
Sir,
should
go
I?
to
Click on next.
Okay, click on the next. Okay, very good. Hmm. Here we have so
Now
many things.
here select database dialect.
Okay, database dialect. What is our database?
MySQL.
MySQL.
MySQL. Very good. Now it is asking.
Driver class
Okay,
form.jdbc dot
.mysql.cj.jdbc, but we don't have cj here. We can rename it later.
changes later.
Hmm. Now,
In connection URL
okay,
select
I have four types, four
second
different
one.
types.
Host
Second one.
port database.
Okay, we have to specify the port for sure. So
Localhost
here, localhost. Very good. What is the port number?
3306
33006 is the port number. And here,
is database name.
database name is something. Mm, let's create a new database. Okay. Okay. Let's create a new one. Mm, show databases, or we can use the existing one also. Show databases. Okay, we have so many databases. Okay, I'm using something like Digital Rebel. Okay, we have something like Digital Rebel is a database. I'm using Digital Rebel. Okay. So use Digital Rebel. Now let's type something called show tables. Now you can see. Okay, we have two different tables in the Digital Rebels, which is employee dr and salary dr, something like that. Okay, so now here I want to create, so I want to create a table here in the this particular database. So database name is Digital Rebel. Okay, I can copy this database name to avoid the spelling mistakes. Please make sure you are spelling correctly. Okay, Digital Rebel. Okay, now default database schema.
Leave
What
it.
is leave it? Catalog.
Also leave it.
Okay,
Root username.
and root the username and password.
Path.
Okay, now
Click.
we have to click on finish. Very good. This is how you need to create the configuration for your okay Hibernate file. Hmm. What to do now? We have to change two different things, right? So one is
Here,
here we
CJ,
add CJ. Very good. Hmm.
the
Now
MySQL 5.
MySQL 5 dialect. Very good. Okay. So we successfully configure our Hibernate file, and here you can see okay Hibernate is placed in root directory. Okay, this is the root directory. Okay, Hibernate is not created in somewhere. Okay, so don't create a Hibernate file in the inside of the package. Okay, please remember. Now what to do? Okay, I want to create a something like I want to create a table like user. Okay, I want to create a table as user. Okay, in the user I want to create something like user ID. I want to insert these rows or columns. Username, user pin. Okay, and yeah, that's it. That's enough. Okay, I want to store these details in the database. Okay, so what to do now? So first of all we need a what we need. What is the second step?
Depend.
Yes, obviously we have to add the dependency. Without adding dependency we cannot do anything na. So dependency adding is the very important one. Okay, so where we can add the dependencies in the form.xml here.
No,
Okay, we have to add all our dependencies. Okay, now okay actually still we are our Maven application using 1.5 version of JDK. We need some new version. Okay, we need some new version of JDK. So let's go to the Google here. Let's Google it. Okay, so here what I have to type now? I need a Java compiler. What to do now? I want to update my JDK in the project. Okay, actually we are using 1.5, so I want to use 17th version of JDK. So what to do now? We have to add compiler source and compiler target na. So here you can type Java okay compiler source target in Maven. Okay, so you can go to the Maven website only, don't open any other websites. Okay, so here we have to copy Maven compiler and source, copy it and paste it on all the properties of the project. So we want to use the 17, we can use 17. Okay, now we need to add the dependencies for the Hibernate na. We need to add the different dependencies of the Hibernate. So okay, what is the different dependencies that we need? What are the different dependencies?
Connector.
Connector, okay. Which connector?
MySQL connectors.
MySQL.
You have to specify. MySQL connector Maven. Okay, if you need to use full name, MySQL connector J Maven. Okay. So copy the recent one. So I want to use some 8.0.29 or 30, everything is okay. So here we have to copy the dependency. This is the dependency and copy it and paste it in the dependencies list. Okay, I pasted my SQL connector. Okay, for sure. Okay, now what to do? What is the another dependency that I have to add to this project? Okay, guys, why you are so silent? What happened to others? Only few are responding. What is the full name? Hibernate TS cache. No. So we need to add two dependencies, na? So what are the different two dependencies? One is MySQL connector, and what is the second one? Hammond. Other than our regular spoilers, I wanted to hear it from the different people. Neetu, are you there? Neetu. Okay. Nitu, Paras. So we have to add the second dependency, na? What is the name of the second dependency, Paras? Or Hamad? Hindu? Paras, are you there? They responded. Eh? No response. Okay. Paras, are you there? Paras. What are the somebody raising hands? Yes, you can. What is the second dependency that I need to add to our project? Okay, Ketan.
Hibernate core.
Yes, Hibernate core. Astos, not Hibernate ES cache. ES cache is the cache, second level cache. If you want to use the second level cache, then we have to use Hibernate US cache. We have to use Hibernate core. Hibernate, right? For Hibernate, so you can click on the Hibernate core. Hmm. So we are using which version? We are using some 5.6.11,
5.6.11.
yeah, which is released in August. Yes, we have to copy this and paste it in the dependencies list. Yes, now you can see the different dependencies that I added. Okay, see JBoss transaction API added, and Hibernate core and Hibernate common invitations. And let's see for MySQL connector. Yes, we have MySQL connector J as well. Okay, we have the all the dependencies. Okay, that we need to provide. Okay, now we need to create the files. Okay, so actually we have by default one file which is named as a app na. So we have a app file. Okay, so I want to create.
Sir, we are not adding the JUnit dependencies.
No, because we are not using the JUnit till now, so that's why. If you want to work with the JUnit, then we can. So to work with the Hibernate JUnit is not necessary na. To check the Hibernate project, then you have to have. So when we have completed the project, okay, then we can check with the testing part na. So there we can add. Okay, otherwise if you want to add it now, you can add it now. No issues in adding. Okay, you can add anytime. Okay, Priyanshu,
Yes, sir,
it's
got
not.
it.
So here, okay, so I want to create a one table na. So I want to create one table and I want to, okay, mention two different methods. One is, okay, so register user, okay, and another one is retrieve user. Okay, one is retrieve user. I want to create these two methods. Okay, so how to do? So first of all I want to register one user in the database. Okay, so how to do it? We don't have any user table in the database. You have to create the table by yourself. Okay, so if we want to, okay, if, okay, we are expecting to create a table by Hibernate, okay, we have to add something else, right? Did you remember that? By defaultly we have to explain the, okay, one thing to the Hibernate. Okay, so we don't have any table named as user, so you have to create it by yourself. Okay, we have to schedule it, right? We have to mention it. Where we have to mention it to create a table?
In
Form.xml
XML.
XML
In,
file.
yes, in the configuration XML, not form. In the Hibernate cfg.xml we have to add. So what is the property name? Did you remember?
H2 TDL
Hmm.
dot auto
bm2 dl dot.
DDL auto
Hmm. So here we can use either create or update.
create
Update.
up.
Yeah. Okay.
Update.
So I don't want to create. I want to just update. Okay. So update will work as a create and update as well. Okay. If you use create, na, it will replace the older values. Okay. So that's why don't use the create here. Okay. Now, okay, so we want to create an entity, right? Actually, okay, we discussed this thing. Okay, if you want to create a table, okay, so we need a entity in the Hibernate, na? So if you want to create a table, we need a entity in the Hibernate. So how to create an entity? So I want to create an entity named as user because I want to create a user table in the database, no? So how to create a entity with the following fields? Tell me.
With the help of entity annotations.
So how to add? Tell me.
So we
How
have
to
to
write
create a class,
annotation?
user class.
Before the class name.
Okay. So so that I need to create a new class name, new class,
Yes,
or I
sir.
can continue with the same.
Sir, new
Create new.
class. New class.
New class, sir.
Okay, new class.
With
Very good.
that name.
Mhm. So here I can make this as a user. Okay. Do we need a main method?
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
no,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Just finish. Very good. Now what to do?
Sir, annotate entity before the user class.
Okay, that means here. Sorry.
At the rate and
Create entity, and we have to import this entity from where?
persistent
Hibernate.
class.
Java persistent.
Persistence. Yes. Not from Hibernate. Please remember you have to import the entity from persistence API because we are implementing the JPA. Na? Okay, we are implementing the JPA kind of specification. So we have to use the entity from the persistence. Remember. And here, what do I need? Do I need to create a methods or what?
Instance variable.
Okay, we have to create the instance variables that we need. So I'm creating something like user ID, private string, username, and the private string user pin or something, user pin or password, anything is okay. Okay, so I have a three files. Okay, I have a three instance values. Okay, now what to do?
If you want to make anything primary key, you can add at the rate ID
Okay, so I want to add user ID as my primary key. So here,
Before user ID.
hmm, what to do?
at the
Annotate
rate ID.
At the rate ID. Very good. So we have to import this ID from again
Java
from
persistent.
persistence. Very good. Okay. Now what to do?
Setters and getters.
Okay. We need a setters and getters. Okay. So I'm going to source. Okay. So generate getters and setters. Okay. Select all and generate. Okay. So here we implemented the setters and getters, na? But I don't want to mention these setters and getters. Okay, I don't want to mention these setters and getters because it is wasting my lines of code. So what to do? Is there any alternative to avoid
Lombox.
these methods? Okay, so please guide
Using
me to use
Lombox.
the long box also. Okay, what to do now? You are saying something like lombok. Okay, lombok. Hmm. By using lombok, what we can do?
We can eliminate getters and setters by using just uh,
Hmm.
adding annotation.
Okay, so here I am removing the getters and setters then. Removing the getters and setters now. Okay, please guide me to use lombok.
Sir, I think it is also import before the class username.
Okay.
Lombok.
So here we have to use getter. Okay. Where to implement it? So it is not suggesting
Correctly,
anything to
sir.
me.
We need to add
Hmm.
Lombok dependency.
Yes. Okay. If you want to use one particular feature, you need to add the dependency. Na? We are not using Lombok dependency in our pom.xml. So here we have to add okay Lombok dependency to our pom.xml. So here okay you can type for Lombok. Search for Lombok, and here click on the search. Okay, so here we have to use the project Lombok. Na? Click on the project Lombok. and here we can use any version. Okay, so we have to copy this particular dependency, copy it and paste it in our form.xml. So here paste it. Now what should we do, ma? What to do now?
Now import @getters
From Lombok. Now you
lombok
can see
and
the
also
option.
setter.
See, import getter from Lombok. Yes. And now we need to import setter also. Okay. Do I need anything other than getters and setters?
It's a two string.
Two string.
Okay. I think two string. T is capital, no? Two string. We have to import two string from again from Lombok. Yes. Okay. We created some model. Okay. So I am happy. So yes, we created some model because we are processing something. Okay. Now what to do?
DAO class.
Okay. Because we are not having more, I mean more methods, na. So I don't want to create a DAO. Okay. Just I can create something here in the app. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Let's add everything in the app file, na. Why we are taking all these things? Okay. Hmm. What to do now? You have the important vocabulary. Okay. That means, so we have configuration, configure, add annotated, so many things we have. Okay. Now please guide me to configure. Okay. To get a connection with database, to insert some data into the database. Okay. Chalo. So how to do it? What is the first line? What is the first step? We created the model file. That means okay. So we created the user and getter such and everything. Okay. Now, okay, I want to save there some data. Okay, I want to save the data, like So I am giving some examples. Okay, in the user ID, I want to save something like 30. User ID is 30, and the username is something like Bhaskar. Okay, and the user pin is something like 905 906. This is one thing. Okay, so I want to store these things in the database. Okay, I want to store these things in the database. So please guide me to store these things in the database. How to store these things? So what is the next step? And we decided to not create the DAO part and everything, because we want to do everything in the app file only, because we are creating a one simple project, na? Hmm. So what is the next step, ma? What is the next step, guys? Am I audible? No.
Yes,
So
sir.
create connection.
Okay. Hmm. So the first thing we need is actually we discussed, no? So in the Hibernate, we need a configuration, Okay, configuration has one method called configure. Okay, in this particular configure we have to specify our configuration file, and we have to add the, okay, class that we are going to store as a table, right? So here we need a configuration. So configuration config equal to, okay, this is the new configuration, the new configuration. So we have to import this configuration from the persistence or Hibernate CFG. Sorry, it's not from the persistence. Okay, now we have a one method called configure, right? Configure. So do we need to write Hibernate CFG file here? Do I need to mention?
Sir, again your voice is breaking.
Move or something, maybe. That's why. Okay, so I'm audible, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible? Is everything okay? Mm-mm. Guys, in India, hello. Yes, Hemant. Arey, Indra, man. Guys, is everything okay? Shall I
Yes,
continue?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hmm. So actually, so I'm asking you, do we need to mention this? Is it really necessary to mention the configuration file here?
No, sir.
Name. But if you rename to something, okay, if you rename to something else, okay, there you have to, there you have to explain everything. Okay, so here we are not using any other name. We are using the same name, na. So just now I'm using the configure. Here we have to add some class, na. Add annotated class. So what is the class name that I have to write here? What is
User
the
dot
User dot
Java
class.
What class?
dot class.
So the table name that you are going to create, you have to mention. That means you have to mention the entity class name here. Okay. Yes, very good. We mentioned the configuration. We have the configuration right now with us. Okay, now what to do? After having the configuration, we have to do something, right? What to do? See?
Build the session.
Yeah.
Session.
So after getting the session, I mean, after getting the configuration, we have to build the session factory, right? So we have to write session factory here. Session factory equal to something like SF. Okay. So by using the connection object only, connection object conf. Okay. Now what is the method to get the
Build
connection?
session factory.
Yeah,
Build session.
session factory.
Build.
Build session factory. Now we have to import session factory from somewhere around organization.hibernate. Okay, now we have a session factory, na. What to do after getting the session factory? We need to do something. What is that?
Make session.
Yeah, we have to create a session from session factory. Session scs equal to sf dot, what is the method to open the
Open
session?
gun. Open
Open.
session. Open session.
Open session. Yes, we are opening the session, and we have to import this session from s hibernate. Okay, And now, okay, we need to start the transaction because I want to store some details na. So we need a transaction, right? So how to start the transaction? We can start the transaction in two different ways, okay. The first one is we can create the we can start the transaction by writing the begin transaction and everything, okay. This is the one way. Or you can store this transaction in a transaction variable, okay. Either you have to store or you can assign directly, okay. There is not a necessary to create this transaction variable, okay. You can start the transaction by using the session object only, okay. So both are equal, no need to save the transaction, okay. So yes, I begin the transaction. So what to do now? After starting the transaction, we have to do something na? What to do? So I want to insert some values, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So
Creating
here,
a user class
let's,
object.
yeah, we have to create an object for user class, okay. We are creating the object for entity, okay. Object of a entity, okay. Object of a entity is going to create as a rows, right? So that's why I'm creating object here. So here u1 dot, I want to set the user id, okay. I want to set the user id, so we have to use the setter method. Set user id, okay. We are not we didn't mention this setter user id method in our application, but still we have a method by, because
Long.
because yeah, Lombok. Okay. So u1 dot set username. I am setting username as something like Bhaskar, and u1 dot set user pin. Okay, which is something like 905906, which is my pin. Okay. So yes, I have some variables and I have a row. Now what to do, ma?
Commit the session.
Save the session.
Save the session.
Save the session.
Yeah, we have to save. So we have to save the object u1. We are saving the session now. We need to
Commit the
commit the
transaction.
transaction. Yes, we can commit the transaction by using get transaction. Get transaction dot commit.
Commit.
We are committing the transaction. Yes. Now, if you want to print some variable, no? Now you can print the variable by using our output statement. Okay, something like you want. Okay, that's it. Now you can run this file, run as a Java application, and click on the OK, and you can see the console now. See, something is happening. Okay. Yes, we got the output. That means the details is saved successfully in the database. So now let's go back to our database. So we are using digital rebel is our database, and we are having, actually we are having the two tables, which is empdr and saldr. Okay, now let's see how many tables we have. Now we can see we have three tables, okay. The third table is user, okay. So the third table is user. Now you can, okay, see the user details by writing the sql statement. Select star from user, okay. Run this code. Now we have the user 30 Bhaskar 905906. This is what we stored in the, okay, this is what we mentioned in the code, right? Okay, 30 Bhaskar 905. Okay, what if, okay, I will rerun this code, okay. If I run this code, what will happen, ma? If I rerun this particular code, what will happen? I want to rerun this code. Is this possible to rerun?
No, sir. The primary key
We
already
have to
exists.
change the user ID
Yeah,
as well.
Yes, sir.
we have to change the primary key value, okay, because primary key does not contain any duplicate value. You will get an error here. See, we got an error which is duplicate entry 30 for the primary key. Okay, primary key should be unique. Okay, you cannot pass any duplicate value. So that's why we are getting error here. Okay, so we successfully inserted the data, right? We successfully inserted the data. Now I want to fetch some data. Okay, I want to fetch. Okay, I want to fetch the data. So how to fetch the data, ma? So I'll comment out this one. I'm commenting this code. Okay. Now I want to print user details. How to print the data? How to retrieve the data? Okay, here we can use two different methods. Either we can create some query. Okay, we can create some query, or we can write a get method as well. Okay, so here you can directly fetch the values by using get method. Okay, u1 dot session dot get get value. So which is the value that we want to read? I mean read. So user value. So user dot class here. We have to mention the class for sure. And here we have to pass the primary key of the table. Okay, 30 is our value, and that means it is a primary key of the table. So that's why I wrote 30 here. Okay, now here you can mention some message. Okay, retrieved retrieved data is. Okay, so I want to print the data in this format. Okay, now you can run this code now. Now you can see the output. Yes, we have retrieved data is some data, which we are returning, I mean retrieved from the database. This is how you need to retrieve the data from the database. Okay, we successfully inserted the data into the database and we retrieved the data into database. Okay, so this is the basic thing that I want to explain. Okay, I want to explain this configuration and everything. Okay, so I think it's very clear for everyone. Guys, any doubts, any confusion? Please tell me. Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. I hope it's clear for everyone. Okay. So now we can move to the project. Shall I move to the project, or do I need to explain anything else? Tell me if you want me to explain anything. Okay, I will explain. Otherwise, we can move to the project. So we can discuss the project things. What to do? If you are having any doubts in the topic now, so if you are having any doubts in the inheritance, one to many to one, any mapping techniques or anything, okay, please let me know. Because in the project structure we have a lot of structure, no, so it's very difficult. If you didn't understand these basic parts, it will be very difficult to understand the project. Okay, a different level of project. So that's why I'm asking you. If you are having any doubts in the Hibernate, please tell me. Otherwise, we can move to the project creation part. The gates is open. You can ask anything in the Hibernate. Say something. Shall I start with the project? Shall I start the project? Okay. Please raise your hand. How many are going to create a project? Or if you want me to explain anything, okay, I'll explain. Okay. Which concepts you are having the issue? Okay. I can see 5 hands. Okay. Logger. Okay. Okay, Rahul. I will explain the logger. Okay. Okay. So Rahul have a logger issue, na? And the transaction. Sandeep, which part? We discussed the transaction just now, na?
So, I'm confused with transaction and session.
What is the
So,
session and transaction?
transaction and session.
Okay. So in one particular session, you can have the many transactions. So transaction is a different thing. How can I explain this? Okay. So let's take an example. Okay. Let's take an example. So assume you are withdrawing some money from the ATM. Okay, you are withdrawing some money from the ATM. So you can create a one session by entering the password. Okay, by entering the pin of your ATM. Okay, you can create a new session. So in this session, you will have a different options like mini statement, withdraw, deposit. Okay, pin change. You will have a different things now. So if you want to withdraw some amount, then you need a transaction. Okay, so this is a transaction. You can withdraw some money from the, I mean, and you can save the remaining amount. Okay, so you can save the remaining account balance by committing the transaction. Okay, one transaction is done. Okay, now after withdrawing some amount, okay, after withdrawing some amount, you want to, okay, you want to change your pin. Okay, you want to change your pin. Okay, so here, okay, you can create a new transaction where you can change your pin. After changing the pin, again we need to save the pin in the new database. So that's why again we have to commit the transaction. And okay, after, I mean, after completing the pin change also, you want to quit. Okay, you want to quit. So that means you can close the session. Close session. Okay, this is the closing session. So one session can have different number of transactions. Okay, one session factory can have one session factory can have different sessions, many sessions, many sessions, and one session can have, okay, many transactions. Okay, this is the hierarchy. Sandeep, is that okay? That's what you are asking.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. One session can have multiple transactions. So that's the example for the transaction and session. Okay, in the ATM, you can create a new session by entering your PIN. Okay, after entering the PIN, okay, the new session will be created. After entering into the new session, okay, where you can perform some actions. Every action must be a transaction. Okay, yeah, that's it. Hmm. Okay, so we can discuss the logger as well. Okay, after discussing the logger, we can create a project. Okay, but before that, it is almost at 12 o'clock. We discussed so many things. Okay, let's take a break for 15 minutes. After coming from the break, we can discuss logger and the project. Okay, boys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take a break. Okay, please be back at 12:15. Hmm. Okay, so loggers. Okay, so what is the use of loggers? Do you know what is the use of logger? So logger can be used in two different ways now. Okay, so either we can use this logger in the place of print statement. Okay, so we have system.out.println statements in Java. Na? So we can use the logger. Okay, for the replacement of println. Okay, so we can replace println, replace, okay, println with logger. And the another thing, we can keep track of the transactions in a logbook. Okay, we can keep transactions, okay, in a one particular logbook. Okay, so if you perform one transaction with the database, okay, that transaction must be stored in the, okay, our logbook for sure. Okay, so if you want to keep the transactions alive in the logbook, okay, then we have to use this logger. Okay, we can use the logger for two different reasons. Okay, the first one is to replace the print method, and okay, we can keep the transactions in a one particular logbook. Okay, so if you want to use these loggers, okay, we have to go through the three different steps among. Okay, if you want to create a logger, we have to go through the three different steps. Okay, the first one is, okay, we have to add the logger. Okay, we have to add the logger, and after adding the logger also, then we have to set some properties. We have to add some properties for the logger. Okay, after adding the properties, okay, we have to create one instance variables in a class. Okay, we have to create one instance variable with the name of, with the type of logger. Okay, we have to create a new instance of a logger. Okay, after creating the new instance, now we can use the log method. Okay, I mean logger.info or log method, anything. Okay, we can use this info method to print something in the console, or to print, to save something in the database also. Okay, I mean to save something in the logbook, not a database, to save something in the logbook. Okay, these are the three different steps that we need to take. Okay, the first thing, we have to add the logger dependency to our pom.xml. After adding the pom.xml, I mean after adding the dependency, we have to create some properties for the logger. After adding the properties, we have to create the instance variable of a logger. Okay, is this okay? The flow of the
Yes, sir.
logger. Okay, now let's go. We are using log4j, right? We are using log4j logger. Okay, so search for log4j here. Log4j. Log4j is the logger. So we have to add this thing. Okay, Apache log4j core. Okay, so you can add any version. You can add any version. So the 2.17.1 is the, I mean, most used version. So I'm using this. Okay, copy the dependency, copy it, and paste the dependency in the form.xml. Obviously, we are pasting the dependency in form.xml. Okay, now we have to create, okay, now we have to create some no some properties. Okay, we have to create some properties for our logger. So where we need to create a properties for the logger. Sorry, I'm using, okay, here I'm using the system.output.println, right? So in the place of system.output.println, I want to use the logger. Okay, so that's why I'm creating the logger in this particular project. Okay, now we have to create some properties. No, so to create some properties, right click on the project. Okay, go to new and click on the other. Okay, search for properties. Okay, search for property file. Okay, so JBoss has a one properties file. Please select the properties file. Now you can click on the next. Okay, so we have to add this particular properties in a root folder. We have to add this particular properties in a one main folder. Okay, so here we can browse. Okay, we can browse something. So uh, in the user ms, okay, we have src. In the src we have a main, so I'm clicking on the main. So in the main we have a one folder called java, where we are having all the source code, where we are having all the source code. But here I don't want to create the, okay, I mean property file in the main. I want to create the property file in the resource, because it is a resource for us, right? So here you can type resource, resources, or resource, or resource, anything, resource. Okay, now here, okay, you can name your log properties file. Okay, log4j is the name. Okay, and now you can click on the finish. Okay, so actually it is saying, okay, resource folder does not exist. Do you want to create the resource folder? Yes, I want to create the resource folder. Okay, click on OK. Now we have the log4j properties file in the resource. Okay, here we have to add the all the properties. We have to add all the properties here. Okay, so when you are adding the properties, okay, I already told you, you can go through the Google. Okay, in the Google you can type for log4j property file, log4j properties file. Okay, you can go through any one of the website. Okay, so Java T point is providing document.oracle. Okay, any website you can pass. But right now I am having my own, okay, properties. So these are my own properties. You can copy these properties and paste it in the our properties file. Okay, just save. That's it. Okay, we successfully added properties to the log4j. Now, okay, here in our app file, okay, in our app file, so I said we have a third step, na? So the third step is, what is the third step? So third step is create the new instance for the logger. Okay, creating the new instance for the logger. Okay, so here we have to create a new instance. So the in is static, okay, or you can use anything. Okay, static logger. Actually, L is capital. Logger, log equal to, okay, logger dot get logger or something. Just wait. Hmm. Logger dot get logger. Okay, and we have to specify the class name where we are using this logger. We are using the logger in the app file, right? So app dot class. We are using the logger in app dot class. So it can be visible for entire app file. Okay, now in the place of output statement, okay, in the place of output statement, okay, I'm writing log.info. Okay, log.info. Okay, if you want to create a new logbook, okay, if you want to create a new logbook, so you can create the new logbook name by adding the name here. Okay, I want to create a new logbook as demo application. Okay, if you want to use something indifferent, okay, demo logbook. Okay, so I'm using some demo logbook. Okay, now you can save this. Okay, save. Now go back to the app file. Now you can run this file. Now you can see. So what is loading? It is loading. Something is happening. What happened to this? Okay, just run this code. What is happening? The code is not running. Mm. Do we have any issue? No. Okay, actually, mm, what happened to this? It's working fine till now, na? Mm, check, no mistake. But we are unable to run this. Run as Java application. Okay, let's run this Java application, but it is not running. Hibernate. Okay, just retry the data. Okay, so it is retrieving the data. But when I'm using log.info or something, okay, it is printing log.info is the method. Save this. Run this. Okay. Which is not working correctly. What happened to this? I think this one is correct now.
Java 17 is we are using Java 1.5.
Okay.
We
Okay.
don't update the project.
Yes, sir.
Update this. I think that's not the reason. There is something else. Right, maybe. Let's try. Updating 48 percentage, 50, 75. Okay. Okay. Update done. But still, we are not getting any input. Okay. Let's write something else here. Log.info. Hello. Okay. So logger is not working properly. Okay. Maybe let's see what is happening inside of this logger. Here we are using logger. Are we using logger here? Log4j. We are using log4j. But this main has some files. We are not working with it. Source main resource. Okay. I think the file. I mean, we have created one file, na? This log4j properties. Okay. I think the folder name is. I mean, I wrote the folder name as a resource, but I think this is a resources. Let's add a S to this. Let's add S and click OK. Okay. Now I change the code. Let's run this. Mm, mm, what's happening? Acha, okay. See, logger is at somewhere. Okay. Actually, we have to import the logger from log4j. So this is the issue. Okay. We imported some wrong file. So let's see, guys. See. So we have to import the log this particular logger from Apache logger 4j. Let's import this logger from logger. Okay, login.log4j.logger. And this particular battery is suffering with some issue. Mm, import, okay, org dot apache login or login. Yeah, what's happening with this? See, import frequency is very important. Log4 check 4, let's import this from log4 no, that logger is not working. Mm, Okay, so let's check with our previous codes. Okay, this is our MS now. Hmm, I think I used it logger in somewhere. Okay, okay, here we are using logger. And where is the logger? See, arg dot apache dot log4j dot logger. This is the file, but we are importing from somewhere else. Okay, let's import this logger from only Apache file. Apache dot log4j. 4j dot log4j. I think we are working with some different version now. Let's check. It's testing my patience. Okay, 1.2.17. Okay, we are using 2.17.1, but here we are using okay. Guys, actually what happened is, see, we imported some wrong logger. Actually, the original logger is log4j, but we are working with log4j core or something. Okay, that means we fetched some long, where it is. Type here, Maven, only log4j, okay, log4, log4j. Hmm. Okay, so this one, Apache log4j, and we have to use this 1.2.17. I think we mentioned some wrong dependency. That's why it is showing some issues. Okay, see guys, remember we have to use the log4j property only. So I pasted some wrong one. So log4j 1.2.17. Now we can import this logger. Import this logger from log4j. Okay, import organization dot apache dot log4j, this one. Okay, now I think now it will work. Yes, we have. Okay, we got it. User id Bhaskar so and so. Okay, so what happened is, okay, so we are working with some wrong logger. Okay, actually we have to use, okay, log4j 1.2.17, which is the recent version. Okay, while searching in the Maven, please find, okay, Apache log4j. Okay, I think I pasted Apache log4j core or something. Okay, so that's why we are getting issues. Okay, please remember the name of the logger, Apache log4j, and you have to go to the recent version. Okay, so 1.2.17. Okay, so I pasted 1.2.17 here, and okay, after adding this logger to the pom.xml, and we have to create a one uh, logger properties. Okay, we have to create some logger properties. So those logger properties must be, we have to mention those logger properties in a resource folder for sure. Okay, this is the resource folder. Okay, and these are the properties that we have. Save everything. Okay, now come back to our app. Okay, so we are using some static variable because I want to use this logger in every method of the class. So that's why I mentioned, I created this as a, okay, global variable. Okay, so global variables must be a static when you are using in a main class or somewhere, because okay, if you want to work with instance values, okay, So instance values can be worked in only the non-static variables. But if you are having any static methods, no, instance values cannot be accepted there, na. So that's why, okay, you have to create static methods. Okay, if you create some objects in a global manner, make sure your object, okay, make sure your object is must be a static because it can be accessed with any method. Okay, whether it is an no, whether it is a static method or non-static methods, whatever the method is, okay, it can accept anywhere because it is a static variable can use anywhere, right? So that's why we are creating a logger as a static variable. That means we can use this logger in the entire class. Okay, so yes, after, I mean, please make sure you have to import the logger, this particular logger from log4j, Apache log4j folder only. Okay, so after importing, you can just mention log.info here. Okay, log.info is almost equal to the system.out.println. Okay, now you can see this particular logger will create a one logbook. I think it will create a logbook for us, but we are not using any, any transaction. We are not maintaining any transaction, no. So we are just printing the transaction. So that's why it didn't create any logbook. Okay, we have to do some transaction, then only it will create. Okay, so let's make a one transaction here. Okay, so I'm creating, okay, 40 here. 40 is the thing, and Priyanshu or anything, and the pin is something like 12345. Okay, save this. Now you can run this code. Something is happened now. So the data is entered successfully into the database. Now you can see here. Okay, now the logbook is also storing these transactions. Okay, now you can see the logbook. Okay, where all the transaction is stored. Okay, now you can see logbook stores the Priyanshu data. Okay, this is
Sir,
how
your
logbook
screen is
maintains it.
stopped.
Screen is stopped. Okay, I shared my screen now. Hello.
Yes, sir, it is okay now. It is okay now.
So it maintains the everything in a one specific order. Okay, so logbook maintains the all the transactions in our application. Okay, Rahul, is it clear? So
Yes, sir.
guys, please make sure you are using log4j 1.2.17 version only. Okay, so if you miss the dependency, if you add wrong dependency, you won't get the perfect output as like me. Okay, as I'm in some hurry. Okay, so I imported some wrong dependency, so that's why we didn't get an output. Okay, please make sure you are using only log4j with version of 1.2.17. Okay, yes, that's what I want to have. Now, okay, is this clear for everyone? Any doubts? Boys and girls, is this clear? Shall we start the project?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, sir.
So our project is hostel management system. Okay, hostel management system. Okay, so I will explain the entire project to you. Okay, so this hostel management system can have two different users. One is user. Okay, so we have two end users. End users means, okay, the person who is using our project, who is working with our product. Okay, so our product can be used by the basic user and the admin. We have two types of users. Okay, one is basic user and an admin. So here user can register himself, user can register himself, his or herself. Okay, So after registering, he can log in. Okay, we can add login also. And okay, if user wants to view his room, okay, user wants to view his room, so we can have a one method. After successful login, we can have a different methods like this. Okay, view room details, view fees details. Okay, and change phone number, or change password, and view profile. Okay, so user can have these methods: register, login, view room, view fees detail, view fees details, change phone number, change password, and view profile. Okay, so these are the features of user, user. Okay, and we have a admin, no? So admin can directly log in. Okay, we will, as a developers, we will give, okay, admin credentials. Okay, okay, so we have a login, na? So after successful login, admin can have a features like this. After successful login, admin can have a features like view students. Okay, view students, allot room, allot room to the user, add fee details, add fee to the user, add fee. Okay, and delete user, delete user, and adding the new rooms, adding new rooms, and allotting the new rooms. Okay, add fees and delete user. Okay, so these are the, okay, features of admin. We have user, we have admin, and these are the details. These are the different methods of user, and these are the different methods of admin. Okay, this is our project. We have to implement all these methods. Okay, guys, clear about the methods? Any doubt in the methods? So we are doing
No,
basic
sir.
CRUD operations, and we are doing registration and login and everything. Okay, so here we need a one relationship, right? We need a one relationship. Okay, the relationship is, okay, so the relationship that we need is many students, okay, or many users can be allotted to one room. Okay, here we are implementing many to one relationship. Okay, one room can have many users. So we are using hostel management, na? In the hostel, okay, we cannot accommodate one user for one room, right? So either we can assign a one room for three users, we can assign a one room for four users. Okay, that means, okay, many users can have one particular room. That is a many to one. Okay, we have a many to one. Okay, now, now, okay, so it is one room. Okay, many users can be allotted to one room. So here, okay, now we have to add another point, ma. So I forgot. View details, same phone number, same password. Okay, I forgot what else. Many users can be allotted. Okay, users have different methods. What I can say is, okay. So here we have to create one global exception for sure. Okay, we are using global exception for sure. Okay, you have to create one global exception, and you will need to, okay, use a global exception. And okay, yes, I got the point. Okay, so we have to use the same login. We have to use same login for both user and admin. Okay, we have to use same login for both user and admin. Okay, so here, okay, you need to understand one thing. So if user, if one person is logged in, so if the role of the user, the role of the user is customer or his student, okay, then we have to redirect him to the customer dashboard. Okay, we have to redirect him to the customer dashboard. Okay, if the role of the user is admin, then we have to redirect him to the admin dashboard. Okay, we have to redirect him for the admin dashboard. Customer dashboard can have these these methods. Customer dashboard can have these features: view room, view fees details, okay, change phone number, so on so. And admin dashboard can have these details: view students, adding new rooms, allot new rooms, add fees, okay. So we are using same login option for both admin and customer, okay. By using one feature called, okay, so here we have a user na. This user can have a different values, right? So user is a model, right? So one model, user model, can have the values like this, okay. User id, username, user phone number, user address, okay, and user role, okay, and user, fees, the fee, the remaining amount and everything, okay. And user can have one room also. User can have one room also. These are the, okay, features of user model. These are the features of user model, along with, okay, sorry, already we are having the user role, no? So after successful login, we fetched this user role, okay, and we can match the user role for the either customer or a admin. If the user role is customer, after successful login, we will get some details na? We will get a user object na? So okay, in the particular user object, user have one role, right? So if the user role is, customer, then we have to take him to the customer dashboard. If the user role is admin, okay, we have to take him to the admin dashboard. Okay, this is a bit new one to you. Okay, you don't know this thing. Okay, but it is very simple. Okay, and so here we have to create the different, okay, we have to create different packages, we have to create different packages, okay. So I'll explain the packages that we need to create, okay. So the first package is obviously the default package. For example, if, okay, if we name our project as a hostel management, okay, hostel management, okay, maybe this is our, okay, a name of package, okay. So this hostel management can have com dot hostel management for sure. This is our main package where you have a app file, okay, where you have a app.java file, okay. And here we have to create the different packages, we have to create different packages. For suppose com dot hostel management dot, okay, we need a configuration, right? We need a configuration by using Java, okay. Actually we are using XML configuration, right? So we cannot use that, okay. So on Thursday we discussed this thing, okay. So hostel management dot something like configuration, okay. We must have a one package as hostel management configuration file, okay. And we can have a something like, no, com dot hostel management system dot DAO, okay. We need to implement the DAO structure. So in this particular DAO we have to create the basic interfaces, we have to create the interfaces, okay. And now we can create a new hostel management dot DAO implementation, okay. We need to create the DAO implementation, I don't know who is this. Okay, so we need DAO implementation. In this DAO implementation, we can create the classes. Okay, classes which implements the interface we earlier created. Okay, interface that we created, DAO interface. Okay, we are doing all this to achieve data abstraction. Okay, we are creating, okay, interfaces to achieve data abstraction. Okay, remember. So this interface can have abstract methods, okay. And something like, array yaar, who is this? Guys, give me a moment. Mm. Hostel management dot model, okay, where we can create the model as user room. That means, okay, we need a user table, we need a room table, okay, so that's why we have to create this model, user and room entities, okay, these are the entities. And okay, so now we have to create the service to use the DAO implementation. We have to create the service to implement DAO. Okay, so com dot hostel management dot service. Okay, this is the another package where we can create the interfaces again, and we have to create the implementation for the service implementation, where we can create the class by implementing the interfaces, classes which implements service interface. Okay, so these are the different packages, and we need a global exception, no? So com dot hostel management dot global exception, global exception. Okay, we need a this file also. Okay, so I think these are the enough. Yeah, so these are the different packages that we need to create in our project. Okay. अरे यार, getting so many calls and messages. Use his number. Okay, sorry. Hmm. So these are the different packages that we need to create in our project, guys. Okay, so let's create. Okay, are you ready to create? Shall we create these files? Uh, Guys, wait. Hello. Yes, sorry for all the disturbances. Hmm. Okay. So guys, did you understand why we are creating these packages and First one is the default package, which is created by the Maven, obviously, and we need a configuration. Okay, so actually we need to create a configuration by using the Java file only, right? So this is the official format. Okay, you cannot use the XML file to create the I mean configuration and everything. So that's why I'll put the configuration in this particular package. Okay, coming to this DAO. Okay, for example, again I'll explain you. Okay, so for example, we need a admin dashboard, na? We need an admin dashboard. Admin dashboard can have the different fields like uh, so where we have to write something like so actually we need allowed rooms, view room. I mean view users. Okay, view users. Add new rooms. Okay, these are the some features of admin dashboard, right? So okay, we can create a one interface first. Okay, we can create a one interface as admin dashboard. Okay, where we have to create some abstract methods, something like public void allowed rooms. Okay, this is the one abstract method. Okay, and we can create another method as public void view users. Okay, this is another method, and here public void okay add new rooms. Okay, this is one of abstract method. Okay, we have three abstract methods in the interface. Okay, now you can create a one new class. Okay, new class admin dashboard. Okay, so this particular class can be implemented by the interface. Implements admin dashboard interface. Okay, so now here we can create the method body public void yellow rooms. Okay, so here we can create the all the method body. All method body goes here. Okay, so this kind of a structure we have to follow because we are creating a Java application where we need to implement data abstraction for sure. Okay, if we implement data abstraction, no, so actually this is the parent interface, no. So by creating the object for child, you can implement this parent interface methods so that we can achieve obviously 100% data abstraction since we are using the interfaces. Okay, that already by using the interfaces we can achieve 100 percentage of data abstraction. So that's why I created two different packages for the DAO. One is for the interface, that means where we have to write the all abstract methods, where we have to declare the abstract methods, and here in the DAO implementation where we have to implement a class by using the DAO interface. Okay, and service is also similar. Okay, so we have to create a services for I mean we have to consume those services here. Okay, so interfaces can have abstract methods, that means it can have only the abstract method declaration, and we need to implement that abstract method in the service implementations. Okay, so that's why I created a one package for interface and I created one package for classes to implement the abstract method in the interfaces. Okay, so these are the different packages that we need to create. Guys, understood? Any confusion?
So what we create in hostel manager dot config.
Hmm. This is for the configuration. Actually, I mean on Thursday we had a discussion, na? Hibernate utility file where we will get all the configuration and all. So this config
Okay.
package, uh, this Hibernate dot Java file. Guys, any doubt here? Any confusion here? Please tell me.
Sir, what
No
about
con.
testing?
Yeah, we can create the testing in a separate package, no? So we can have a testing in the app icon test. So all these files must be placed inside of src main. Okay, the testing files will be going into the src test now. So that's a different folders. This is the main folder, that is the testing folder, that will be different. Okay, we no need to create any separate package for testing because it is already
Okay,
separated in the folder.
okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
guys, how many of you clear about this? Please raise your hand. Astosh. Okay, okay. What about others? Ketan, Sandeep, Priyanshu, Nishant. Okay, okay, okay. What about others? Okay, I hope there is no doubts. Right? So let's create the project. Okay, let's create the project now. So as of now, today is our first day, right? Don't create any single line of coding. Okay, don't write single line of code also. Okay, let's create a different packages and let's add some basic classes in it. Let's add some basic classes. Okay, chalo, let's create. Hmm. We have so many things here. Hmm. Okay, so let's click on the file. Okay, click on the Maven project. Okay, Maven project. Click here and click on the next and click on the next again. And here, okay, so I want to name my software. Okay, suggest me some names there. Hostel management system. I think it is too long, right? To write. Mm, how can I write? Mm-mm. Can I write something as hostel MS? Is that okay? Hostel MS. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Com dot hostel MS. And click on the finish and close everything here. All these things. Hostel management system. Okay. Okay. So here in the SRC main, see in the SRC main we have com.hostelms where we are having the app file. Where we are having the app file. App is the okay our landing page. This is our landing page. That means this is our main. Okay. App is the only main we have. Okay. App is the only main. Okay. Now let's create a one package with the name of config. Okay. Let's create a package here. Mm, right click on the new, click on the package, and here type com dot hostel ms dot mm, config. Config. Okay, click on the finish. See, we have a one new package, and let's create a new package again. What is the second one? DAW com dot hostel management system dot DAW implementation. Click on the finish and again new package com dot hostel ms dot DAW implementation where we have to write the implementation code IMPL. Okay, now click on the finish. Okay, now you can create a new package for something like I forgot. Okay, DAW implementation done. Now we have to create the model. Okay, dot model dot hostel ms dot model. Now create new package dot service. We need a service implementation also. dot service impl implementation. We have another package, and we need a package for exception also, right? Dot exception. Okay, as of now we created some packages. Okay, we created some packages. Okay, so now let's create a some basic class file, I mean some basic classes. Okay, so the first class we need is, okay, we need something like, hibernate file, na? Hibernate utility file. Okay, hibernate utility, and I want to make this hibernate, h is capital. Hibernate utility package we have, I mean utility class to configure the hibernate and everything. Okay, so click on the finish. Okay, now you can see, come on. It's loading. Okay, hibernate utility where you have to write the utility, and let's create a one exception also. Okay, global exception we need, global exception. As of now we created another exception also, global exception. And let's create a models. Okay, our models is two only, we have only two entities. One is user, one another one is rooms. Okay, user or a customer, I can say user or a customer, anything is okay. Okay, user, and we have to create something like room also. Room also. Okay, let's click on the finish again. Okay, and we need to create the files for, okay, service and service implementation, and a DAO and DAO implementation. Okay, we need to create four different, I mean we need to create the files in the four different ones. Okay, so I mean, shall we create now? As I already told you, host, I mean this particular DAO has interfaces. It has only the interfaces. Let's create the interface. Okay, so I want to create, one interface for login and register. Okay, we need to create a one interface for login and register. Okay, uh, yes, login and register, login, and or this is a DAO, no? Let's create this as a user DAO. Okay, user DAO. This is a interface, guys. Remember, this is the interface. Okay, and we need a interface for admin dashboard and a customer dashboard. Sorry. Admin, admin DAO, admin DAO. Yeah, with the admin DAO. Yeah, come on. Today is all about creating the files. That's it. Okay, we are not going to write single line of code as well. Okay. So I will create all the files. Okay, I will push the, I mean I will push this particular project into the GitHub. Okay, you can do the same thing. Okay, yeah, come on. Arey, what happened to this? Okay, admin now we have. Okay, now User DAO and admin DAO is okay now. So let's create a hostel MS DAO. Okay, hostel MS DAO. Hostel MSD DAO. Now we created a three different interfaces. No, okay. We created admin DAO, user DAO, and hostel implementation DAO. Okay, so we have created three interfaces. Okay, and we need to create the three different classes in the implementation. Okay, and those implementations will be okay created later. अरे यार, what happened to this? I think I have started this class on that time. That's why we have a lot of struggles here. Okay, where is my packages? Okay, we have three interfaces now. Now let's implement those interfaces in the implementation file. Okay, same methods. Admin DAO IMPL, admin DAO implementation here. Okay. So this time in the implementation package, we have to create the classes. I don't know what happened to this particular. Sorry guys, sometimes my laptop behaves something like weird. Hmm. It's weird. Till it is creating. Okay guys, do one thing. Okay, so I mean we have created different packages. No, as of now, let's wind up till package. Okay, so I will push the code in the GitHub. You can do the same. Okay, please create the only packages. Okay, tomorrow we can create the classes and interfaces, and we can write some coding also. See, my laptop is getting stuck. I don't know. Is it okay? Right. Create user DAO implementation. Okay, it is a classes, and let's create a new one. Ah, so tomorrow we can create the service. Okay, so I will create the last file, hostel MSD implementation of that. Let's create another file. This one is the last one. Okay, I'm not creating any file. Hostel management system DAO implementation. Okay, and click on the finish. That's it. Okay, in the meanwhile we can create a repository. Okay, GitHub. Here create a new repository, guys. Okay, hostel management. a hostel management system. And okay, so click on the add readme files. Okay, so add some readme files. Okay. Mm, and create report. Okay, click on the add readme file, and we can add some description to the project here. Okay, so this one. Okay, this is our repository now. Okay, here. Okay, just click on the readme file. Okay, so you can type something. Okay, here you can type something. Hostel management. Hostel management system is developed by and is developed with okay Java, Hibernate, and MySQL, okay, along with JUnit test case, JUnit, along with JUnit. Okay, this is the description, and if you want to add some description, okay, if you want to add more description, we can add. So we can add. So we have or this project. This project has two end users, okay, or two modules or two domains. Okay, two end users. One is two users. Okay, make the two users. We have two users. One is the end user. Okay, another one is admin. Okay, another one is admin. And here I want to add the different things of admin and end user. Okay, let's add all the features. These actions. Okay, so guys, this is optional. Okay, don't if you are feeling like hectic, leave it. But it is a better way to create the projects. User can, and admin can. Sorry. Okay, so that's it. Okay, save changes. Now you can see we have a description like this. Okay, it's nice now. Hostel management system is developed with the Java Hibernate MySQL along with JUnit. Okay, this project has two users. One is end user and an admin. Okay, user can perform actions something something. Okay, so you can add a okay, you can add a README file like this, which gives the more sense. Okay, so let's go back to our folder. Okay, let's push it. Space in the AMP, where is AMP, and the hostel management system. And this is our project. Okay, so open the command prompt. Okay, now push this for git init, git add, git commit -m. Okay, first phase, first day. Okay, first day. Now add remote origin. Okay, we have to add origin to our repository. This is our repository. Okay, git remote add origin. I think I misspelled it. Git remote add origin. git. Okay, now push it. Git push minus f version master. Hmm. Now you can see. Just refresh this. Now you can see. What is this? So master. Add readme. What is it? Readme. Okay. Actually, I added this readme in the main one. So I want to push it as a master. And here also I want to add readme. Okay. As you can see. Uh, okay. Okay, we have some readme file and we have our project. In this project, you can go to the SRC, okay, and you can go to this hostel management, okay, where we are having different files. Okay, see config, DAO implementation, exception model, and actually we need a services as well. We can get the services once we had a file C. Okay, these things. Okay, so let's create a basic project like this and let's add it in a GitHub. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, we can write some coding. Okay, yes, today we didn't create anything. We created a different packages and we added some files into the package. That's it. Is that okay? Any confusion? Any dilemma? Anything?
No, sir.
It's very clear, right, for everyone? Alit, Nishant. Okay. So
Yes,
everyone
sir.
has to create the repository today, and I want to see all the packages in the repository for sure. Okay, except services because we didn't create anything in the services. That's why okay, those things cannot be pushed. Okay, so we can create the services tomorrow because my laptop is getting stuck. I don't know why. Okay, so that's why I ended up the thing. Okay, so you can go through the my repository if you need. Okay, please create the different packages in your okay, project. Do it today, okay, because okay, we are creating the we are creating the project in a different phases. This is the first day. In second day we can add the coding in the main. We can do the things. Okay, unmute. Okay, okay, Nisha. I will send you that also. Okay. So guys, you can create the project and please push it in the GitHub. Every day we have to work it, and every day we have to push it in the GitHub. Okay. So day by day we can create the project. Okay. So tomorrow we can create the login and register and some user modules. We can implement some user modules. Okay. And Wednesday we can create some admin account and everything. Okay. So Thursday we can add some more functionality. I think by the Thursday we have to complete the project. Okay. On Friday we can add some JUnit test cases. Okay, some basic test cases. Our goal is we have to complete the project by Thursday. Okay. So every day we can segregate the code. Okay. One day we can work on the user implementations, user DAO implementation. One day we can implement the admin implementations. Okay. We can do all these things. Okay. Is it clear? Is that okay? That type of flow. Or if you are having any new flow, okay, suggest me. We will do. We will work on it. Okay. So I mean, creating the entire project in one day, I think that doesn't make any sense to us, right? So it is very hectic. Okay. So first day we just created the files. Okay. Second day, okay, login and register and um, redirecting. Redirecting to admin account, redirecting to user account, something like that. Okay. Third day, we can implement user dashboard. Fourth day, we can implement admin dashboard. Okay. Fifth day, by fifth day, we can add testing, test cases. Okay. This is our project flow. Okay. If you are having anything better than this, please share it to me. We can work on that particular thing. Okay. I'll show this and I will send you this particular message. Okay, boys and girls, anything else to discuss?
No, sir, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. So please continue the session. Please don't leave the session before 2 o'clock. Okay. Please hold